be on how do we support the continental free trade area. We'll continue to do a lot of investment in infrastructure. I have said it. We are working very hard on the Lagos-Abidjan highway. That construction of that will start, by 2022. All the work is currently now being done. We will continue to invest quite a lot in energy. Power is the source of development. Without energy, you don't have anything. So the bank is going to be investing quite a lot. We secured $115 billion of new capital from our shareholders, which will give a lot of resources for us to support African countries, to support Nigeria and all the other countries to be able to do more. I am an eternal optimist when it comes to Africa. I'm very confident that even the new year will be much better for many African countries.
Dr. Akinwumi also discussed with President Muhammadu Buhari possible areas of collaboration, cooperation and assistance as the Nigerian leader gets set to once again assume the chairmanship of ECOWAS the second time in 3 years.
I came to congratulate him on his election to be chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. Obviously, that's very, very important for economic integration of the region. And as you know, as president of the African Development Bank, the issues that are critical for regional integration are there. The issues of infrastructure are very, very important. Some of the monetary policy issues are very important. And how to make sure that we are able to address the issue of insecurity, which the president has been leading on how to tackle that issue within the region. So I came to exchange some ideas with the president and to offer the president my full support as he takes on the chairmanship of ECOWAS.
With $3.3 trillion worth of trade, Dr. Akinwumi additionally described the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement as the biggest thing to happen to the continent. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Into diaspora matters, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission to ensure that the welfare, well-being and safety of the nation's citizens abroad remain paramount in the execution of its mandate. The chairman and chief executive officer of the commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, announced this while briefing newsmen after an audience with the president.
Follow the president's instruction. The commission will engage with Nigerians wherever they are to ensure that we do not take anyone for granted or neglect anyone. It's tough, it's challenging, but I know the commission is up to the task. So as we move on into the new year, we have started the process of having a diaspora database to know exactly the number of Nigerians in diaspora as accurately as we can, where hopefully we'll have a diaspora policy to be rectified by the Federal Executive Council. And then we continue our engagement. As we look into the new year, we're going to ensure we put diaspora matters on the front burner. And also we'll be engaging the National Assembly to look into the issue of diaspora voting. Nigerians in diaspora believe they should be able to vote, and remitting so much money to the country and contributing so much to the economy, we believe they deserve to vote.
Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa briefed President Buhari on the activities of the commission since established 7 months ago. Now to the judiciary. The judiciary is an arm of government which adjudicates over matters between the two other arms as well as individual cases in order to maintain law and order in the society. To maintain its independence, the sector has its self-cleansing mechanism with the establishment of a National Judicial Council. In this report, Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk takes a look at the performance of the judiciary in 2019.
2019 was an election year with its attendant litigations over pre-election and election matters. Aside from pre-election matters, the 78 tribunals empaneled attended to 786 petitions that arose from the conduct of governorship, National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly elections. Imo State has the highest petitions of 76, while no single election petition was filed from Jigawa State. In its appellate jurisdiction, the Court of Appeal adjudicated on 805 appeals arising from the verdict of the tribunals in its 16 divisions across the country. On its original jurisdiction, the court adjudicated on 4 petitions arising from the conduct of the presidential election. At the pre-hearing stage, 2 of the petitions were withdrawn, while 2 got to the judgment level. The 786 petitions were disposed of within 180 days stipulated by law. As a way of strengthening the democratic culture in the country, The appellate court adjudicated on all 805 appeals within the stipulated time of 60 days.
The Nigerian judiciary is one of the most overworked in the world. If you go to the advanced democracies or even comparable countries like Ghana and what have you will not see the number of such cases. 800 cases within a period of 6 months. It's not a joke. And this is apart from other regular cases, civil, criminal, commercial, and what have you. So I think they deserve to be commended.
In 2019, it's one of the most difficult times for the Nigerian judiciary. It is the year in which the Nigerian judiciary, both at the trial, appellate, and the Supreme Court, that have not enjoyed the liberty or the privilege of their annual vacation.
In its judgment on the HDP petition on the conduct of 2019 presidential election, the 5-man panel of justices led by Justice Garba Mohammed dismissed the petition of the Hope Democratic Party for lacking in merit. The panel also resolved all the 5 issues raised by the PDP and its candidate against them in favor of the APC and its candidate, President Muhammadu Buhari. The court affirmed that President Muhammadu Buhari was not only qualified, but eminently qualified. The Supreme Court, in addition, equally dismissed the 2 appeals by the HDP and the PDP.
They commend the Supreme Court for rising up to the occasion. And that's the way it should be. And the judiciary has done well.
The chapter, paragraphs and lines having to do with 2019 election, especially the presidential aspect, has been laid to rest until 2023.
We've done our best. We've done our best. Our clients have done their best. The rest are for Nigerians.
INEC has no right, unless there's an amendment to the Electoral Act, to transmit the results electronically. That is the law as I told you.
Partnership pre-election matter instituted by one of the candidates of the APC in Zamfara State, the Supreme Court resolved the matter in favor of the PDP. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Thank you, Dele, for that report. And on the outgoing year, I'm now being joined live by Abubakar Sadiq Abba, Professor of Political Science from the University of Abuja, to discuss more on issues about the outgoing year. Professor Abubakar, thank you so much for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Nigerians.
All right, 2019 is an election year. How would you assess our political development?
I don't know.
2019 is an election year. How would you assess our political development?
Well, I think first and foremost, I want to congratulate Nigerians for passing through 2019. It was an eventful year. It's a year full of hopes and aspirations and dreams and fantasies. So congratulations to all of us. First and foremost, we look at the 2019 politically from 3 perspectives: Nigeria, Africa, and globally. So when we take globally, there are some issues and events that really became the cornerstone of global issues in 2019. Fundamentally, political protests all over the world, from Hong Kong to Mexico to Venezuela, now in India, etc., etc., even in Algeria and possibly Morocco in Africa. So we have seen a lot of the political protests, and the wisdom behind this, or the motivation behind this, is could be attributed to tremendous political education, political orientation, new reorientations, and political mobilizations. So politically, there is that is global awareness as far as political rights and individual rights are concerned.
Okay.
So citizens all over the world are now becoming more conscious about political accountability from leaders. So that's what informed those decisions.
That's some political development. So economic-wise, how did we fare as a country?
Well, in Nigeria, if you look at the 2019 budget, that is supposed to be the baseline for takeoff. The 2019 budget was designed to address various consolidatory areas of our national economy. And I believe I'm not going to give the government an excellent mark, but at least it is so far so good. It's a journey that is supposed to be commended, especially in these trying moments of national life. The Naira did not appreciate much, but at the same time, the Naira did not slide downward. So the CBN, the Federal Ministry of Finance, and the government financial and monetary policies were able to at least sustain the Naira for the greater part of the year. That is commendable. Also, the purchasing power of Nigerians in terms of the Naira value vis-a-vis the commodity pricing system in our local markets has equally improved. The productivity level is the greatest achievement of this particular government. Nigerians, I think the challenge by Mr. President, Nigerian youth are very lazy, has been taken up by Nigerian youth. And now there are a lot of Nigerian youth that are engaged productively. So I think 2019 could be referred to as a year whereby it was a year for Nigerian youth, whereby Nigerian youth collectively and individually rededicate themselves to productivity and productive values. Okay. So that's it.
All right, Professor Abubakar, let's talk about fighting insecurity, insurgency, security generally in 2019. What's your impression?
You see, the security issue is a global issue, and I think our major challenge in Nigeria is the government is hell-bent on fighting insecurity and insurgency and terrorism from the point of view of a state-centered model. I think I will advise the federal government in general and the Nigerian security sector in particular to be able to now avail themselves of the opportunities that abound variously in fighting insecurity. Most especially if you go the recent and the most celebrated model of security system in the whole world is a citizens-driven security system that is called CDSS. It is all over the world the most successful countries that were able to sustain and maintain security in their own territories. Those countries that were that had the capacity to engage citizens-driven security system. So okay. The federal government as a government and the security sector as a structure or as an institution should be able to leverage on that and involve more Nigerians in the security architecture of this country. That is what is lacking. But as like I have said, we have gone far. We have achieved a lot as far as the fight against security is concerned. Kudos to Nigerian Army. Kudos to Nigerian Police. A thumb up to Nigerian security system for at least be able to sacrifice themselves and put their lives and their safety first in the interest of nations and national security.
All right, so what are your expectations for 2020 from the government, your projection?
There are a lot. Okay. As a Nigerian, I'm so ambitious, I'm so selfish. I have a lot of expectation from the government. Number one, I want the government, on behalf of Nigerians, to see that the Naira is improved on its own value standings. At least if you can get like 200 Naira to $1, at least it's going to be superb in 2020. How they do it, where they do it is their own concern, but our prayers is that Naira should, the value of the Naira should be propped up in such a way that we can participate not only actively but effectively within the global system. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the government has done a lot in terms of agriculture, mining, and the rest, but I think there is need to be done. There is a lot of money tied up in the CBN. Let the government release those money. Let them freeze this money to people who are ready to invest those money in productive sectors, in agriculture, in mining, in all the sectors of the economy, manufacturing sector. So that, you see, there is no accidental or incidental development. That has to be planned. Okay. And the only way to plan is for government to release, forget about all these check and balances. Let them release those funds that are stuck up at the CBN. So let it reach Nigerians. And even the agro borrowers, this thing, it is too elite, it is too, what do you call it, elitist-centered model. It should go down to the grassroots, so that at least we can show up our productive capacities and productivity levels in this country.
All right, Professor Abubakar Sadiq Abba, thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry, this is
thank you very much
from you. Thank you so much.
It's a
for
pleasure.
enlightening us. Thank you so much. That was Professor Abubakar Sadiq Abba there on the outgoing year-end projections for 2020. You're still watching the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. More reports ahead when we return. Stay with us. Glad to know you're still there. Federal government's fight against corruption continues to produce positive results with forfeitures of property worth acquired through fraudulent means. Some forfeited properties are already being put to productive use, one of which is a structure that will now serve as corporate headquarters of the National Directorate of Employment. Onenge Fineface has details.
For 32 years, the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, which is in the business of providing employment for Nigerians, has been operating from our rented apartments. That narrative is changing. The Directorate is now moving from its 4-story rented apartments to an 8-story corporate headquarters in Abuja. Signing the dotted lines marks the official handover of the structure to the NDE by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
This is another evidence to show and to prove that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is indeed serious about fighting corruption, is indeed serious about increasing the capacity of ministry, departments and agencies by allowing them to have their own properties, which of course some of these properties are processes of crime.
With what we have received from EFCC and the letters of certification they are giving to us, I'm telling you already arrangement has been put in place. We are going to be adequately funded by the federal government so that we can have this building put in place.
Now, Director General of the NDE understands that to whom much is given, much more is expected. And he is determined to make the NDE serve Nigerians more effectively as landlords in Abuja. On NTA Fineface, NTA News.
Now to agribusiness. The federal government is providing job opportunities for more than 1,000 youths in 6 states through a project tagged Agri-Processing, Productivity Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support Scheme. The beneficiaries will be engaged along 3 value chains of aquaculture, poultry and rice, as well as dairy products.
Victoria Oluwakemi is among the youth participating in the federal government and World Bank Agricultural Support Program. Her vision is to get technical know-how on production and processing of fish to start her own business without relying on government job.
And we believe by the time we go out into the labor market, there will be a greater farmer.
Kemi and other 3,000 youths participating in the training at this center are being equipped with necessary skills in all aspects of agriculture value chain, including marketing strategy.
We've been well drilled, we've been well tutored, we've been well nurtured, and we want to promise them that we're also going out there to impact what they have built into us into the community.
Not just about 350 youths and women that are empowered, it's actually a multiplier effect because more people will be employed even by these beneficiaries.
The capacity building will be followed up with grants to finance sub-projects and mentorship.
The first batch of the selected beneficiaries have been undergoing practical trainings that are designed to build their capacity along the value chains that they have selected.
The enthusiasm in them, the interest they are picking. We have all the resource persons, the facilitators coming to put them through the basic aspects based on the module produced for this training. And they are happy, they are learning.
The development objective of the APIS project is to increase the agricultural productivity of small and medium-scale farmers and to improve processing and marketing that will foster job creation along the value chain. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Let's now bring you news on the foreign scene that made headlines in 2019. And Joyce Obitu is our guide.
Hello and welcome to this special segment of the news where we remind you of some of the defining moments around the world in 2019. Let's begin with Brexit. After nearly 3 years of serving as the UK Prime Minister, Theresa May formally resigned as the leader of the ruling Conservative Party over failed Brexit negotiations. The victory of Boris Johnson at the Conservative Party leadership election on July 23 followed May's resignation. Mr. Johnson renegotiated May's deal and succeeded in replacing the backstop with new custom arrangements. The UK is due to leave the European Union on 31st January 2020. And during the year under review, Donald Trump made history on June 30 when he became the first sitting U.S. president to set foot in North Korea. The meeting came 4 months after Trump and Kim Jong-un met in Hanoi. Neither meeting produced much progress. Mr. Trump said he cut the Hanoi summit short because North Korea wanted the U.S. sanctions lifted in their entirety. Now, across the globe, 2019 has been a year of major protests. Demonstrations erupted across almost every continent over corruption, climate taxes, and much more. Now, let's take a look at some of these major protests. On February 16, 2019, Algerians staged a mass protest shortly after the ruling National Liberation Front Party announced Abdelaziz Bouteflika would seek out a fifth term. Bouteflika, 82, had ruled the North African nation since 1999 after losing military support and coming under pressure from street protests. His 20 years in power came to an end on April 2.